talk to us and tell us how the weather is like wherever you are, so that in today's edition of the evening farm drive. I hope you're keeping on well wherever you're tuned and watching us this evening. Thank you so much for your continued support and for your comments that keep coming through. You remember you can always interact with us on our Facebook platform at Afarmers Media. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Also follow us on our YouTube channel, all those at Afarmers Media. And today we want to talk about the various available opportunities, agribusiness opportunities in Kenya, which crops or animals you can keep as a business. Normally we always say at the end of the day, it's about making money, and that's why we want to have this conversation regarding the various agricultural avenues that you can tap into and make money. Not quick money, but just earn an income from it, and how you can manage that business. Just don't look at it as an agricultural venture, but as a business. And we'll be talking to one of a renowned agronomist who will be telling us the misconceptions when it comes to the various businesses that people can venture into, and he'll also be sharing the types of agriculture that are good ventures to get into and make money. And as we always start, agriculture is one of the major sectors in Kenya, mainly because Kenya's economy is agri-based. The major agricultural products that are ventured into here in Kenya include tea, coffee, dairy products, horticulture. We have maize, wheat, sugarcane, beef, pork, and poultry. Now, to be successful in the agribusiness industry, you need to be sharp, creative, and fully aware of the upsides and downsides of the stock you want to produce before you start investing. Mass sensitization about the importance of agriculture has in the end helped curb the rampant unemployment in the country and increased the productivity of farmers. Agribusiness ideas in Kenya are beneficial to any individual with potential. That's why we want to talk to Christopher, who is an agronomist, just to find out what are these various agribusiness ventures that people can get into, and how they can go about it, what you need to know before you even get into that business. And yes, so joining us online and on phone is Christopher. Thank you so much, Chris, for making time to join us in the evening drive.
Thank you, Jackie.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you, Jackie. Hello.
Yeah, I'm having a challenge. I cannot hear Christopher quite well.
Can you hear me?
We'll be getting in touch. Hello, Chris. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes. Director, is the sound okay? Can Christopher be heard? Hey, Christopher, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so yes, the sound is okay. And today we are talking about the various agribusiness opportunities that people can venture into. Before we even begin, probably tell our audience who you are, what exactly you do.
I'm Christopher Gavundi, an agronomist by profession.
Mm-hmm. Agronomist dealing with what exactly? What kind of crops? All crops, or what kind of crops?
I deal with fruits, vegetables, and pulses, and even palm oil.
Palm oil.
Yes.
That's interesting. I think I'll look for you to show me how to make palm oil.
You're welcome.
So we are talking about the agribusiness opportunities. First of all, for those people who don't understand, we know you usually tell people don't just practice farming for the sake of farming. In the olden times, people used to practice just farming for to feed themselves, and now people are also practicing farming, but they don't know they can actually turn it into a business. So if you can give us a brief explanation on what exactly agribusiness entails.
Agribusiness is a combination of two words, agriculture and business. So basically, agribusiness means practicing agriculture with a business sense, in a business model.
Okay.
That is, you conduct it strictly on commercial principles, aiming for profit. Yeah.
So what are some of these agribusiness ventures that people can tap into?
It includes farming, that's primary production. It includes value addition. It includes input supplies. It includes also the logistics, the transportation, and also the agri-services, that is extension services. Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. That's just an introduction to what we'll be discussing in today's show. And before we even get now into the main topic, let's look at some of the stories that are making headlines as at this hour. We have the story on Boma Roads as the next big business. And we're actually talking about agribusiness. And even before I get to that story, Christopher, there's one misconception that, when you talk about agribusiness, most of the people think the only thing that comes to mind is making quick cash, and people rush into probably fruit farming or horticulture. Does agribusiness only look at horticulture? And even when you talk about animals, when you say agribusiness, someone will just rush into poultry farming. Are there particular crops and animals that a farmer should look at when they are thinking of even starting that agribusiness venture?
If you would like to get into farming, which is part of agribusiness, first you need to come up with a specific business plan, which will address a specific customer. You don't grow cabbages for a customer who is interested in onions. Once you have your business plan with a customer in mind, then you come up with how your onions or your product which you are producing will satisfy the customer needs. What does your target market specify in terms of what you are producing? And you have also to know who are your competitors, who are other people doing what you want to do, and what is your leverage over them, in order to win the market share of the product you are into to produce. Then are you willing to work for some time without breaking even? Because every business has a grace period. Even loans, you are given a grace period. If you get a business loan, you are given a grace period of 2 months, 3 months, because they expect that by then you will have achieved some return.
Exactly.
And if you are short on skills, where will you get the skills to run your business, your farming business? And how will you integrate that in the risk of your capital, that you have the capital first? How do you, in case you fail, what will happen? Such things.
Exactly. Now, as you are looking at the story, some of the stories that are making headlines, there's one here on Boma Roads being the next big business. And Boma Roads is the next big or lucrative business, according to Dr. Oscar Koech from the University of Nairobi, Department of Land Resource Management and Agricultural Technology, who is saying that Boma Roads is the next super crop because of its low cost to manage than other crops like maize, with ready market for the grass products. Do you agree with that?
Partly.
Why?
Even it comes from a professor on land resource management. And the level of the certification up
Mm-hmm.
Bomber rods is mainly planted as hay to feed livestock.
Yeah.
And currently, a lot of livestock keepers have lost their animals due to drought.
Mm-hmm.
The drought is not going away in time.
Yeah.
And most of the people who are doing the bomber rods can't get selling the seeds
Mm-hmm.
because you get more money from just small weight of seeds, like 50 grams you get with some good money.
Yeah.
However, bomber rods can make money. Yes, the market is there. Everywhere now is going dry. But whom will you sell to? Because the cows are dying.
Mm.
Bomber rods without animal husbandry, without animal breeding, will just be a business that will just be there. You know, there are businesses which are just there, like a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can make money.
Yeah. And speaking from an expert point of view, like when you see such a headline, you'll find everyone going into bomber rod farming. What do farmers need to keep in mind when they're starting their venture? Should they just be looking at what's in the market? Should they just tap into whatever is selling in the market? Or what are those considerations that farmers need to put in mind?
The first thing is, are you a farmer?
Mm-hmm.
Or you are just doing it because you saw a headline?
Mm.
Another issue to look at is, what is your ecological zone? Where you're located?
Mm.
Because bomber rods in Kajiado or in Makueni will not do like bomber rods in Kitale or in Kisumu.
Mm-hmm.
Those are considerations to look at.
Yeah.
The other issue is, what is how's your soil?
Mm-hmm.
You need to analyze it, because bomber rods, you don't just grow and you leave it. You take care of it like any other crop. You fertilize, you irrigate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think those are the key. And do you have the machinery? Do you have the technology to harvest it and to preserve it in order for it to reach the market?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another story that I'm looking at is famine is knocking in Somalia's door. The World Food Program has warned, and the story goes: people in Kenya, Ethiopia, and Somalia are struggling to put food on the table, as the World Food Program has estimated that 22 million people in the region are at a risk of severe hunger. I don't know exactly where you're at, Christopher. What's the situation like even before we continue reading this story? Are you feeling the same?
It's heading to grim. It's heading to a grim situation.
What do you mean?
Yes, because we have not put, the population is growing every day.
Mm-hmm.
Input costs are increasing every day. The weather is turning on us every day. So yes, the World Food Program, I start with their point.
Mm-hmm.
Trouble with hunger is all over. You know, it's Makueni, and you saw Red Cross the other day slaughtering cows to give people meat.
Mm.
So yeah, I agree with that.
But then what needs to be done? Because climate change is here with us. There's nothing, okay, there are talks that are currently going on. But what needs to be done? What should governments do? As in, we cannot just sit and say we are having the crisis.
Governments have policies and procedures that they follow.
Mm-hmm.
And I would not like to address the government because, government as small-scale farmers is a pyramid.
Okay.
It's a pyramid. The small-scale farmers are the base of the pyramid. The government is at the top of the pyramid, doing regulation and legislation.
Yeah.
But in between, we have other people, other players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the person who is suffering more now is a small-scale farm.
Yeah.
Because of adhering to policies that promising a good market was produce.
Mm-hmm.
But the risks that the small-scale farmer faces are quite many.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, I've worked with some farms and I've seen Ababa doing monocropping.
Mm-hmm.
It's time we adapted. We stopped. I don't know if stopping is the word or something, but we need to really adapt intercropping.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can grow fresh beans for export,
Mm-hmm.
the period that fresh beans take is the period that menses a wheat break can take. We used to do that in the years of 2005, 2006. In Mwea and the other areas where we were growing fresh beans for a company I was working for. And there were no shortage of maize or anything.
Very true.
Because 10 farmers each with 1 hectare, doing say an area of height that is around the block or something of maize, you will get his fresh beans and harvest his maize. Yeah, I think that's the approach, because even monocropping has also exhausted or misused our soils.
Yeah.
Because whatever crop you are doing is extracting nutrients from same region, root zone. And whatever fertilizer you put are geared towards that one crop. So it is I think that is a discussion of another day.
Yeah. So even as you talk about crop diversification and people intercropping, there's still the issue of failed rains. Like the story I'm seeing by the World Food Program is that Somalia has had after 4 failed rainy seasons. Kajiado, they're talking about two failed rainy seasons. So the issue is actually revolving around failed rains. Where?
Where come from?
Makueni 3 failed seasons.
Yes.
So what exactly, as an agronomist, can you advise farmers? Should they just rely on rains? Should they rely on the weather? Are there other options apart from that can help resolve this issue of climate change?
They should do what an hybrid approach. You rely on the rains, but you grow crops that can produce within a short period, short season. I mean short period crops. Like the Mozimojas, like sorghum. If you do sorghum and it gets just two showers, at least you will get ahead.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
The government, the World Food Program, all other development partners need to invest in mega irrigation projects. At least in each ward or in each village or some, I don't know, but because like in Makueni, for example, where I come from, we have a lot of rivers. Even if it rains just for one day, they are flooded. They are filled to the brim, and the water flows like for 2 days, it is off. You see? In Kajiado, if the rain rains like today, tomorrow, you will hear of flooding in Narok, flooding in Suswa, things like that.
Yeah.
Where is that water going?
Yeah, we don't know.
2, I've seen people buying big tracts of land in these areas where you are hearing of failures of rains and all that. But what they do, they clear all the indigenous trees, and they start planting the zebras and the blue gums, which cannot really cope. And sometimes they dry up, and the whole land is dry. So it's people to start respecting nature, diversity, and what I call the relationship between each species in an ecosystem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now to another story. It's finally good news as all is set for the Central Kenya annual ASK show after 2 years hiatus. The preparations are finishing today at the Kabiruine Showgrounds, which will host the annual Agriculture Society of Kenya show after a 2-year disruption due to COVID-19 restrictions. Is it good news to you to hear that the ASK shows are back?
2 way.
Uh-huh.
First is good news. Third, second, people who need the information do not really take shows seriously. Because there are a lot of things to showcase.
Yeah.
Right now, manufacturers and the people in agribusiness channels, platforms have developed adaptive techniques. So if farmers could be encouraged, policymakers could be encouraged to engage and visit these ski shows, whatever they are. they will understand that because like agronomy, if you just read your agronomist in university or in the college, you have your degree certificate, and you don't update yourself, you'll be talking of cotton when Kenya is not growing cotton.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah.
Yeah. So SK shows are very key.
But my take is probably the media sometimes fails to probably bring out these aspects of shows, because I remember I used to be taken to the showground. Like we used to wait for it like an event, every year you have to go to the showground. But yeah, while I was growing up, I never used to get into details, really understand what is there. I used to see the animals, I used to see the skuma wiki, I used to see the horses. But then, like the one that is being done, the theme that is going, the show is going under is promoting innovation and technology in agriculture and trade. But you'll find that people who will attend the trade fair will not even understand what exactly it's about. You'll just walk in and walk out, like there's no take home.
Yeah, I understand. Now you see, media is for business.
Uh-huh.
I will not promote me if I own a media house unless I'm doing CSR. I will not promote a SK show which is giving me 50,000 and appoint a product that is giving 1 million.
Yeah.
If they want, if SK membership needs to be really pushed, because SK normally get their funds through the shows and through the memberships and through grants. So it is a win-win if everybody is a member of SK and all that. But I think that's not part of this discussion.
Yes.
Yeah. So you do not blame the media.
Blame the organizers.
The shows. But the government policies then, even the education ministry, I think it had a calendar of sensitization and telling children you need to go to the show and learn this.
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe there comes some disconnect.
Exactly. Yeah, so those are some of the stories that we are looking at, and of course we'll be coming back to talk about the ruling that was done by the Supreme Court yesterday, and there's some promises that the newly appointed president had made for farmers. But we will be coming back to discuss this and more stories, including the topic of discussion today. We are talking about the agribusiness opportunities in Kenya, what farmers need to tap into so as they make money, not just every time we are getting poor prices, maybe you are being exploited by brokers. We are here with Christopher, who will be sharing with us on the various agribusiness opportunities that are available and how you need to go about it so as to make an income at the end of the day. So Christopher will be taking a short break, but we'll be coming back to you shortly for this discussion to continue.
Thank you, Jackie.
Amaranthus, or locally known as terere, is a highly nutritious vegetable that is cultivated and consumed as a leafy vegetable in many parts of the world. It's easy to grow, matures fast, as it takes an incredible shorter period than most traditional crops. There are many species of amaranthus, with some green and others red in color. When growing amaranthus, ensure the soil is well drained and rich in phosphorus, and most importantly, ensure the seeds are well distributed to achieve an even spread when establishing a grain amaranthus field. Amaranthus is especially loved for its tender leaves and for their healthy dose of ions, vitamins, and a range of minerals.
Mahindi yamekuwa chakula kikuu katika sehemu nyingi za ulimwengu na jumla ya uzalishaji wa mahindi kuliko ile ya ngano au mchele. Mbali na kuwa mahindi ni chakula, pia hutumiwa kutengeneza ethanoli, chakula cha wanyama na bidhaa zingine. Kunayo mahindi ya gume, mahindi ya ganda, yaani popcorn, mahindi ya unga na mahindi matamu. Mahindi yanalimwa sana kote ulimwenguni na kiwango kikubwa cha mahindi hutolewa kila mwaka kuliko nafaka nyingine yoyote. Shamba la mahindi linaweza kutayarishwa kwa kutumia njia za kawaida au za kilimo cha uhifadhi. Kilimo cha kuhifadhi ni pamoja na kunyunyizia dawa za kuulia wadudu zilizopendekezwa na wataalamu wa kilimo. Unaweza kutumia trekta au njia ya mikono kufanya kilimo cha mahindi. Ni muhimu kuandaa ardhi mapema ya kutosha kuruhusu magugu kukauka na kuoza kabla ya kupanda.
Eggplant is an elongated shaped and dark purple fruit, and its leaves are large, ovate and slightly lobed. Eggplant is a perennial crop but grown commercially as annual. Eggplant grows best in well-drained sandy loam or loam soil. The soil pH should be between 5.8 and 6.5 for best growth. Eggplant requires a regular watering and steadily warm growing conditions.
And we are talking matters to do with agribusiness and the various agribusiness ventures that farmers can tap into, or anyone who is thinking of putting up an agricultural venture that eventually will turn out into a business. Now, agribusiness management encompasses many aspects of the economy: agricultural producers, businesses that provide supplies and services to the producers, businesses that add value to the agricultural products, and those that facilitate the marketing of agricultural products to an ever-growing marketplace. So, like, agribusiness is just a whole lot. There's a whole lot of things that people can look at when they are setting up their business venture. What are your thoughts on that, first of all, Christopher, before we get into this discussion on when you talk about agribusiness, must you start from the farm, or you can take it from wherever, whichever angle? Probably you're looking at the manufacturers, you're looking at advertising. Can it be tapped by from various angles?
Exactly. Because you see, all those angles of agribusiness can be divided. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can be divided into three broad areas. That is input, supply, or production, processing, and manufacturing. Yeah, that's basically what's that. So it is not a must that you start agribusiness through farming. You can start through supplying the inputs.
Yeah.
If you see a need in your local area or where you or feedstock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, what considerations then should an entrepreneur keep in mind when setting up the agribusiness enterprise? Like, you can share the tips when you're looking at, like you said, you can start from anywhere. You don't necessarily need to put up, like, start from farming, have to grow the crops, and then go sell them. Share those tips on what to look at. So you've talked about looking at probably the lack of transport, and what other tips can you share?
Now, when you want to get into agribusiness, for me, or any business, is you have the capital and the risk factors that come with it. Because you will not get a loan of 1 month term to farm a crop that takes 3 months, or a loan of 1 month to open an agrovet. You see?
Yes.
That's very key. Capital is key, because most of the people, you begin with some capital in the middle of the process. The capital drains, no money is coming in, and you close down. The other thing is commoditization of your enterprise. How is your commodity packaged? How will it adhere to your customers? Because, for example, if you are doing like pomerols, and people have been used to bales of say 2 kilos, for example, and you start doing like 10 kilos, of course you have begun on the wrong footing. Then is the consolidation. How will you consolidate whatever you require in your business? Who are the actors that will help you? Because it is not a one-man show. Business is not a one-man show. You need all these consolidators, people who will help you in achieving your goal. Then connectivity. How will you connect? Maybe if it is a business, how will you connect to your supplier? How will you connect to your marketer? How will you connect to all these? I think those are just a few of the things that are key for me. Yeah.
Well, I was doing my research on this show. I came across an article that it's very interesting. It was highlighted that 6 crops that can make you rich in 2022, and I've put some of the crops that they're trying to tell farmers that they'll make them rich. There's dragon fruit. There's passion fruit. There's strawberries. There is also mushrooms, onions, and pawpaws. Probably they can make you rich. But does agribusiness, like you've seen most of the things they've mentioned, they are fruits. Is agribusiness only about fruits? And even when you talk about livestock, no one will tell you that you'll make quick money with dairy farming, sheep and goat farming. They'll just tell you get into poultry, you'll sell the chicken and probably the eggs. What crops and animals are best suited for an agribusiness enterprise, to be honest?
You see, there's a very common saying. You are what you think you are.
Exactly.
Any crop can make you money. But I'm not discrediting what your research has shown. Because that is a specific research
Yeah.
done for a target group.
Yeah.
So you have first to identify which is your group. You don't tell me that you have never grown anything and you want to grow mushrooms.
How do you even grow mushrooms? Exactly.
So what is your skill set before you even venture into it?
Yeah.
Yes, strawberries people are making money. If you go around Naivasha, around that area, you see guys selling on the road pallets of strawberries. That's money, but not everybody can do it. Okay.
Yes.
So if just know what you are good at. Like myself, I have not lied to anybody that I will venture into an agribusiness, because I know there are some things that I fail in. As much as I'm an agronomist. Yes, I tried some of it, and I failed. issue is.
Mm.
Don't venture something which you have not really captured the nitty-gritty of it.
Yeah.
It's the same way you cannot say that there is shortage of food and you go around eating poisonous plants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very true. But then there's the aspect of patience, because even me, if I was to venture into an agribusiness, I would want to venture into crops that are fast growing. Like you can't tell me to plant maize that you'll make money. Maize takes quite a long time to grow. But if you try to convince me to grow strawberries, I'll think twice. I can give it a benefit of doubt.
You have understand, in a very layman's way. 8 months in Italy and 3 months in Makueni.
It depends on where. 3 months in Makueni, what variety of maize is that?
Exactly. Now you see, that's where the skill set comes in,
Mm-hmm.
and your scope of information. But anyway, anybody who is pushed, any poor man is always patient.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like having a party and you delay the food.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand. And, it's a common thing across board, not only in business but everywhere. Everybody wants to make money fast,
Mm-hmm.
solve their problem.
Yeah.
But that's now, which in the long run, it accumulates into a lot of issues for you.
Mm-hmm.
Patience is very key, and take your time. You can. The best thing is you just do your business first on the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Have a checklist.
Yeah.
Capital check.
Mm-hmm.
Connections for market check.
Mm-hmm.
Connections for inputs check.
Mm-hmm.
Soil analysis and everything check.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are at maybe 60 or 70%,
Mm-hmm.
and also security of where you're going to grow, because you can grow your crop or you can put your business. It is destroyed in the morning by elephants or hippos.
Yeah, very true.
So you need to do a risk analysis first. Do it on paper. Have it or check. Get the best. Even if it's not the best, get somebody who is maybe a mentor who has been in it for long.
Mm.
Most people fear to ask for help.
Yeah.
I'm one person who can ask for help anytime from anybody.
Are you sure?
I better stay without help, but I know I know somebody.
But okay, just finish and then I'll challenge you on that. I'll challenge you on that. Just finish.
So once you have done checks of all this,
Mm-hmm.
is now when you can say, now you give timelines for the people. If it is your market, by this month I'll be in market. Can you agree on this price?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If it is your input supplier, I'll begin on this day. Can you? Because one issue about farming. A day in farming is worth 2 weeks of waste.
Mm-hmm.
If you are to have your fertilizer on this date applied, you delay by these days, you are delaying your production.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, basically.
Yeah, you've talked about starting your business on paper, and you're taking us back to school, because agribusiness is entirely another business, another form of business enterprise. Does someone need to have like a business management skills? Does someone need to go back to school to learn all these basics on managing and putting up a business? Does someone need to go back to school?
Probably if you don't know how to read English, but we are professionals who do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the best thing to start is if you are keen on it, get close to somebody who is successful with it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they don't have, even if they become your competitors.
Mm-hmm.
You can even try to do some what we call you can partner in the business. You tell him if you are doing 100 kilos of fresh beans, see how I can handle my 20, but you guide me so that I can grow this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we grow together. You cannot grow alone.
Very well said. But vitu kwa ground ni different, Christopher. There's another conversation we were having some other time back with Noah here in studio, and we were talking about food wastage, and we were asking, why is it that some farmers can actually just let their food, their produce rot on the farm when their markets? And Noah was like, some of the farmers, some of them are jealous. They fear guiding you. Probably you'll take away their market, and others fear. If I ask this other person who is doing probably cabbages, they'll misguide. They'll misguide you. And he was saying something of farmers sometimes are mean. Ni wachoyo sana. Like they don't want to share information. Is it true? You've dealt with many farmers. What is your reaction, me?
Farmers operate like 100-meter sprints. Everybody wants to reach fast.
Mm-hmm.
But for marathon, you go like a team.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope now you understand the difference.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Yes, if somebody is growing onions next to you, they will not tell you where the sources are influenced. They will tell you what diseases they are facing because they want yours to fail so that theirs can get a market.
Yeah.
But I think it was summarized by somebody that with a little love in this world, the world would be a better place.
Uh-huh.
So people don't love one another. Most men do that.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you'll go somebody seeking for help, they will just broadcast you and they laugh about you.
Yeah.
Very few will try to reason with you.
Mm. Very.
It's a character that is not easy to handle.
So how are you agronomists probably assisting these farmers to change their perception and their minds and their thinking that they need to work with one another for, eventually it will lead to food security, because once this produce rots in the fields, we are actually losing food which can actually be processed or even be stored for future. You get? So how are you dealing with farmers as agronomists probably to change their mindsets and even encouraging them to work closely together? Because you'll find that when one person sees someone is growing onions, they'll want to grow another kind of crop to avoid that competition.
Whenever I get an opportunity, I tell farmers, consolidation is the key.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if I'm growing onions and you're growing onions, you don't plant the same day.
Mm-hmm.
So they will be in the market on different days.
Yeah.
Two, if now you call a buyer that you have onions, they will start from, can your onions fill a canter? And the guy who's planting, he can only get how many kilos? 200.
Mm-hmm.
That can't fill a canter.
Yes.
So you see, it's a matter of information and like what Afarmers media is doing and other people. People will come to realize that coming together, pulling together is the way to go.
Yes. Now, as our listeners continue digesting on this conversation you are having, now yesterday the Supreme Court ruled in favor of President, who is the newly president-elect, Dr. William Ruto. And there are some promises he made during the campaigns, and he had said in his first 100 days, he had promised to support the establishment of agro-processing industries for farm inputs such as animal feeds and fertilizers. He also talked on job creation. He pledged that the Kenya Kwanza government will invest 500 billion over the next 5 years in lower level agriculture and informal sectors to create opportunities for women and youth. And to ensure self-sufficiency in food production, the president-elect promised to make available affordable fertilizers, quality seeds, as well as farm equipment, and ensure access to loans by investing at least 250 billion in the agricultural sector over the next 5 years. How viable are these promises? Should we wait and see? Are they viable, first of all?
Have you ever heard of the agrarian revolution?
Yes, I've heard of it.
What do you know about it?
I've just heard of the agrarian revolution. Don't go into details. Give us the details.
World over, agriculture is the backbone of very many economies.
Yes.
and of investing in agriculture. Whether it's lies or it's the truth, time will tell.
Exactly.
But the promises are very good. So let us not throw the baby with the bathwater. Let's give him the 100 days he said.
Yes.
Of course, he had to set up with government cabinets and all that, and police papers and all that. So I just remain an optimist. And but they are good things. Whatever they are written and what they say in their manifesto, if they are implemented, it's good. That is if. So I think this from 2002 is my fourth time or what time? 14. So anyway, let's wait and see.
The promises are always during the campaigns, and then after it's a wait and see and push and pull.
But of course, we have the parliament, we have Senate, we have the governors, so it's not alone. Yeah, so let's hope they will stick to their manifesto this time around.
Yeah, and I think from the promises he made, I have a feeling that there's so much in the agriculture sector that was left out, including the extension services, including putting even TVETs for training people on good agricultural practices. Like we have agronomists like you who are doing it as a passion. But if such of these agricultural practices are actually trained even in schools, I think we can have better extension services when it comes to the agriculture sector. Don't you think so?
Yeah, that is true. But you realize that when you are building a house, and there are steps.
Yes.
You have to put the foundation. Input access is the foundation of any farming. Because you will not tell an agronomist to go and advise farmers not to apply fertilizers, and the fertilizers are not available. So let us give them the benefit of doubt and wait.
Yeah. Exactly. But I think from some of the stories I've seen him doing, he's one exemplary poultry farmer in Eldoret, and he's actually trained most of the people in Eldoret to grow Hass avocado, which is now getting market in China, in Malaysia. So let's give them time and wait and see.
Sure.
I hope you have grown avocados. Yes. In your farm.
My farm is very dry. They're just acacia trees.
Wow.
Yeah, which I use for other stuff.
You should
But
have.
avocados have grown separately in several areas. I've been involved in growing avocados in several areas.
Yes, now the export market it's looking lucrative, and I know those farmers who planted way back Kitambo when the president was pushing for people to grow avocados will now start reaping, because sometime back I visited some of the farms, and the farmers were really complaining that they weren't getting much from avocados.
Now, you have brought in another issue.
Yes.
Dimension. What do you mean you are not getting much from avocado?
You cannot
Explain.
You cannot be having the avocados growing like let's say the big ones, and you're selling one avocado at $1. That's a loss. 1 shilling, and thus you're buying the avocados at 40 shillings. When you export that avocado, it's being sold at 150 to 250 shillings. And you've waited, I think, almost 3-4 years for that tree to start bearing fruit. And then when someone comes to your farm, you have to sell it at $1.
Now, that's where agribusiness, in the farming perspective, interferes with the whole process. Because if I'm buying an avocado for you at 1 shilling, and it goes to China, I get 50 shillings. You still want a share of the 50?
I'm the one who did everything. Like you've just come and taken the fruits.
You're the one who got it to China.
But are you the one who planted?
No.
Uh-huh.
You know the process of getting, not even China, any product exported.
That one you'll have to look into.
It's very costly. Forget about the raw material. I mean, you are
The produce.
mango or the fresh beans.
Mm-hmm.
The process of getting that product, the legislation, the certifications, the logistics. In fact, if farmers were fair,
Mm-hmm.
not all exporters are rogue exporters.
Mm-hmm.
You know why?
Mm-mm.
There is a certification of social accountability,
Okay.
and they look at the price.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I wonder when somebody is saying I sold my avocado at 1 shilling.
Mm-hmm.
Now the big avocados, they have a very low fat content,
Mm-hmm.
and most of those big avocados they are extracted maybe for oil.
Mm-hmm.
So with the low fat content and a very big seed, are you exporting the seed or what?
It shouldn't be the seed, actually.
So what I'm saying is this: before any entrepreneur comes to your supply point, he has done his calculations,
Mm-hmm.
he has done his margins, and you as a farmer, do your calculations and do your margins, because most of these avocados, there is nothing they are done.
Mm-hmm.
It is just a growing tree.
Mm-hmm.
They are not sprayed anything. They are not even irrigated. They are not pruned. You just pluck. Even if it's 1 shilling, what's the problem?
There's a big problem there. Okay, I gave you an example of avocado. Let's go in the case of Makueni, where farmers have planted mangoes and oranges. How much are people selling the mangoes at? I know you have mangoes in Makueni. It's a shilling. It's still a shilling.
No,
It's still a shilling.